Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're watching this, I'm recording this on Sunday, September 14th. If you're in B cohort, you will be seeing this first. My name is Mr. Delano. This is my first year teaching science at Berkeley Middle School. If you are in A cohort, when you're watching this, you'll already have met me. You already know a little bit about me. I'll know a little bit about you. Um, but the first video lecture we're going to do, I just want you to fill out a summer quarantine survey. The purpose of this survey is just for me to kind of get to know you guys a little bit more, um, know what you guys were doing over the quarantine, over the summer, and see where you guys are roughly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the questions and then go over my answers. That way you can kind of get to know me a little bit too. So let's get started. All right, so the first question is, what do you feel were some of the biggest challenges about remote learning last year? Obviously, remote learning was not ideal. It would have been nice to finish out the school year in person. It's hard to kind of motivate yourself when you're at home by yourself. But I felt the biggest difficulty for me, and it's probably a little different for you, obviously, because you're not a teacher. I felt that it was difficult to reinforce material through pre-recorded lectures. In class, obviously, if you are if you're working on a subject, I can kind of come around the class. If you raise your hand, if you have questions, I can help you a little bit. But obviously, when you're doing this asynchronous, when you're not doing this in live time, it's kind of hard to do stuff like that. So that's what I felt the biggest challenge was for me. Um, what were some specific parts you liked about remote learning last year, if any? Because there weren't a lot, to be honest. Um, so anything that you benefited from and you feel will work again this year. I felt that my students benefited from having a consistent routine. So last year, I would push out a lecture a week, two assignments a week, and I always posted my lectures on Monday, and I posted an assignment to go along with that lecture on Monday, and then on Wednesday, I would also post kind of like a follow up assignment or quiz or something like that. So I felt having that consistent, regimented schedule kind of helped kids so they could kind of coordinate things with their other classes because when everyone's just posting things all at once, it's kind of hard if you're some teachers are posting on Monday and then other teachers are posting on Tuesday and then maybe the teacher that posted on Monday last week posted on Thursday the next week. So definitely having that rigid, consistent schedule, I think, helped my students last year. Question 3: what is something I could do to support you during remote learning this year? Obviously, it's going to be a little different because there's going to be the in-person part of this as well. It's kind of hard for me to answer this because obviously this question is for you guys. It's not for me. But I think having in-person time to review topics, learn remotely, will be very beneficial to you guys um, this year. And obviously, you didn't have that last year. Question 4: what are you most excited about this upcoming school year? Like I said, this is my first year at Berkeley Middle School. The last 3 years, I've been at Dighton Rehoboth High School right down the street. So obviously, I don't know any of you guys. So I'm very excited to get into school. Uh, for those of you that are in A cohort, like I said, I've already met you. For those of you in B cohort that are going to watch this on Monday or Tuesday or even Wednesday, if you put this off, I'm very excited to meet you guys and hopefully gain a better understanding of you guys. And I want to share some of my knowledge in science so that you guys can kind of, by the end of this course, have a better understanding of the world around you. All right, picking up on question number 5. What were your favorite activities and hobbies you did during your time away from school? This whole pandemic, this whole quarantine, in a lot of ways has been negative, but I think one of the positive things is a lot of people got to maybe have a little bit more time to pursue things that normally they wouldn't be able to. So at the start of quarantine, when we couldn't really, as a teacher, we couldn't really push out new work. They were trying to figure out how everything was going to work. I played a lot of video games, a kind of obscene amount of video games, but the weather was not great, and it's tough to do stuff outside. So when the weather kind of turned around, it got better. I spent a lot of time outside. I went on a lot of hikes. I went to the beach a lot. I worked out as much as I could outside. I got into running, and I really got into golfing this summer. I used to golf a lot when I was a kid. I had a membership at a local golf course in my town, but I just kind of got out of it. But I got back into it this summer, and it was a blast. So those were some things that I had a little bit more time to pursue certain things, and it was good. It was beneficial for me. Um, Kind of related to this next question, or this question is related to the last question. Did you pursue any new hobbies during quarantine? Like I said, I picked up golf. Like I hadn't played in a while, so that was a new hobby I kind of pursued. I tried guitar, but that didn't last very long. I think I might. I don't think that's completely over, but it's on. I'm hitting the pause button on that for now. But I also, one thing, I've always loved to cook. I would say that I'm a pretty good cook, but I had a lot of time to try out some new recipes. So I tried to improve my cooking skills as well during this time off. This next question, obviously, it was tough to go on planes or cruises this summer. But did you go on any fun trips or adventures, even if it was just a day? I went on a lot of beach trips. I tried to be outside as much as possible, out in the sun. Um, I went camping with my family out in Western Mass. That was a lot of fun. I got to go on some hikes. I got to our campsite's right near a river, so I got to swim a lot in the river, and I got to spend some good quality time with my family. And then finally, recently, only a couple weeks ago, I went up to Burlington, Vermont, and that was really fun too. They were kind of strict up there with all the quarantine guidelines, but it was still a blast. Highly recommend going up there. Lake Champlain is beautiful, so definitely check it out. The second to last question: what was something you wanted to do during this pandemic, but was not able to do? Um, I would say in February, so a month before everything kind of happened. I was planning a trip to New York City. I've never been. I'm a big food guy, so there's a lot of restaurants I wanted to check out down in New York City, and obviously that was ground zero for this whole pandemic. So the that got shut down real quick, but I still have the itinerary that I was planning. So hopefully, when everything goes back to normal, I can go down and enjoy those New York bagels, which is what I'm really excited about. I love bagels. And finally, last question: did you do anything science related or learn anything new about science during quarantine? I was constantly, obviously, as a teacher, I was for a lot of it, for a couple months, anyways, towards the end of the school year last year. I was still teaching my science curriculum at my last school. So obviously, I was doing that day to day. But recently, I just picked up the book Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's an excellent book. It's a little complicated. Some of the things are a little tough to understand, tough to wrap your head around. But it's a great read. It's very interesting, and I can't wait to share some of this with you guys in class. So that's the quarantine. Please answer. That's the quarantine survey, rather. Please answer these questions in as much detail as possible. It'll help me. The first couple questions will help me be a better teacher, and the last questions will just let me get to know you guys a little bit better. So, if, like I said, if you're in A cohort, it was great to meet you. If you're in B cohort, can't wait to meet you. I'm running out of time, so good luck.